This series hasn't been the hardest for me at all yet, and it's simply due to the near flawless level design like this. So props to Team Reptile for making a great game with great level design as well. What's going on, y'all? I'm Rune, and welcome back to the 5th episode in my series where I tried to full combo through every burrow in Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. In the last episode, we had the time of our lives in the mall, and today, we enter the pits of hell. My mental health and overall well-being aside, the show must go on. Let's go over the rules. In order for me to have fully comboed a burrow, I have to hit all hard corners, billboards and vehicles, and half pipes in each level of BRC in one continuous combo. I'll only be using the skateboard for this challenge, as its useful manual time and movement ability come in handy for some of the burrows. Alongside this being a non-modded run, using the vanilla physics of BRC. For those of you who do not know or who are new to BRC, going a specific speed may sometimes net me hard corners on random obtuse looking rails. So I'll either be including or excluding these corners based on consistency across them. And lastly, some burrows have separate locations locked behind loading areas, to which I can't keep my combo when traveling through them. So I will be adding up the multipliers in a burrow's respective separate area to the final total if there are any. With that out of the way, let's get into the cesspool of a mess called Pyramid Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, represent.
After taking the ferry from the Millennium Square port, you arrive at Pyramid Island, the Devil Theory's main stomping grounds. We have 3 areas to work on here: the general first floor, the second floor with the various rail routes, and the final set of floors nearing the top of the pyramid. I was dreading getting to this burrow simply because of its one main characteristic: its verticality. But Rune, didn't the mall and some elements of Brink have high points of interest as well? And to that, I'd say you'd be right, my fellow rider. But the main issue that Pyramid has over all of the other burrows is that a large chunk of the level is locked off by this one loading area. This area unlocks after you defeat Devil Theory once in their challenges, and opens up this inner corridor that you can use to get to the higher rail area. Once you're up here, you're free to combo the entire burrow. You just have to do everything on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors first before dropping down. However, if you wanted to get really risky, you could get your heat level up to 2 to unlock the police turrets. Using this specific turret here unlocks the rest of the burrow as well, simply by bashing into it and boost tricking onto this upper platform. But due to how annoying it is to full combo while there's police around, this method isn't really ideal. Okay, so why not just start at the room with the other 2 rails on the 2nd floor then? Well, that's due to this little container right here at the top of the pyramid. Oh boy, the area where DJ Cyber drops vinyl into has around 12 to 13 multipliers, give or take. But the problem is that getting out of this jar is extremely hard to do whilst keeping your combo. If I started my run on the 2nd floor, comboed the 3rd and the 4th floors respectively, worked my way up to the 5th, and dropped my combo in the jar, I'd have to start all the way over. So, the best area for us to start in is inside this stupid jar. That way, if I mess up, I won't lose a lot of progress. With that out of the way, let's finally get started on this damn burrow. I start my combo in this godforsaken jar. There's a multiplier on nearly every corner here, grabbing all of them while going both directions. However, sometimes I don't get any multipliers on some of these corners here. By this point, I've already spent far too much time than I'd like to in this jar, so I just decide to leave once I have around 12 multipliers. Leaving the jar is the most difficult thing in this run, as I have to hit this air vent precisely in the middle in order to gain enough height to leave. Way too long and you either bonk on the edge or don't get enough height, or let go of the manual for a split second and you lose your entire combo. The way I ended up doing this is similar to how I got out of the ditch in Millennium Square. I manual onto the small wall, slowing myself down, and short hop onto the vent, giving me enough space to get the maximum height on the jump and make it out of the jar. The first thing I do once I'm out are the surrounding rails by the container, grabbing the outer barrier rails after. Then I make my way up to the top of the pyramid, to which I found out that the very top rail has a multiplier itself. I did a couple of separate runs testing if this was consistent enough to count, and out of 5 attempts, I'd gotten it 4 times. So I'll leave it in the run for now. I make my way down to the rails on the stairs leading up to the final floor. The 4th floor, where you fight DJ Cyber while sliding everywhere, doesn't have any notable multiplier spots. So I backtrack down via the pipe you used to get up here. There's a couple of corners in this mix of pipes, so I spend a few moments making sure I get all of them, only heading down to the windmill area to grab these 2 corners at the starting platform. Thankfully, there's no hidden corners on any of the windmills, so I don't have to spend an extra 4 minutes grinding them all. I took the pipe back and landed on this platform here. Beginning this long rail segment here reminded me of something important though. This burrow has a lot of inconsistent, obtuse corners on these Sonic Frontiers looking rails here. I have to avoid accidentally leaning in on most of these longer rides so that I don't grab any random one-off multipliers. There's this one rail here that has corners that look just obtuse enough to grant multipliers consistently. So I did a couple of runs, and out of 3 of them, they granted multipliers normally. So I'm gonna keep them in the run like usual. I take some more time suspended in the air with this massive corkscrew rail that I have to ride normally due to it being riddled with random multipliers. I head over to the 3rd floor and grab the half pipes here, then backtrack back to the 2 rail segments at the start of the 2nd floor. Making my way over, I get the U-shaped rail over here on the side, and then get the long hexagonal rail junctions on the way back up. Everything on the rails in the air are done by this point, so I drop down to the 2nd floor and begin working on it. I grab the collection of rails on the edge here, and the half pipes here are similar to Brink, where there's multiple within one consecutive half pipe. Thankfully, there's only 3 in this collective here. The cool thing about this part is that now that I'm on the 2nd floor, the rest of the burrow is extremely easy to combo at this point. Only difficult part was getting on top of the semicircle rail here, but after that, the remainder is trivial. Nothing else noteworthy happens here, so I end up fully comboing the burrow on this final corner with 292 multipliers. It's not over yet though. Pyramid Island has exactly 2 separate loading areas. Most people would think the Hollow Forest area is the first one, but where would the second one be? Well, the port area at the square entrance is actually Pyramid's first separate loading area, housing 4 extra multipliers here on these corners. Moving on to the Hollow Forest area, we've only got this one rail segment here leading to the pit to Old Amsterdam, adding another 4 multipliers to the total. With that being the case, I have fully comboed Pyramid Island with a total of 300 multipliers flat. And that's it for this oversized geometry project. We're almost done with this series, and I cannot wait to finish it off with a bang. Matan is going to be so fun to work on, and I cannot wait to get started on that video soon. Thank you guys so much for making it all the way to the video, and I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe too, so that you can help me keep making these videos. I have a Ko-fi that you guys can support that'll be linked in the description below, and I have a Discord that you can also join as well, so feel free to check that out. But anyways, my name is Rune, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.